Living in Ghana, abroad, a first-timer visiting Ghana, or a company wondering where to get quality service providers in Ghana for any job, then Ejumapa On Demand Services is here to assist you. Ejumapa On Demand Services connect requesters and service providers such as masons, plumbers, electricians, auto repairers, home and office cleaners, trash collectors, rent agents, spa attendants, roofers, beauticians, teachers, CCTV installers, and all artisans on one platform. Yes, one platform. Trust Ejumapa On Demand Services to sort you out any day, anywhere, and at any time. To download the app, please visit the App Store and Play Store or visit our website www.ejumapa.com.
Welcome to Second Generation IT Group. Hello, my name is Ferdinand Asamoah, Director of Second Generation IT Group. We've been in business for the past 5 years, and we have a lot of clients who have come through the school and they're doing pretty well. We offer 18 weeks of cyber course, which runs for every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And people ask, why Second Generation IT Group? Yeah, we offer different courses in cyber. Cyber is kind of big, so we offer risk management, we offer FISCOM, we offer cloud computing, we offer pen testing, and we also offer Splunk. Courses are offered virtually. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can just join the course without any. It's very convenient for everybody. You can reach us on our social media. You can reach us on Facebook, you can reach us on Instagram, and you can also reach us on our website, which is secondgenerationitgroup.com, the company that provides beyond excellence.
About SBTV Africa, so thank God it's Friday. Mama Kwaba, the Wabe joining the only say Fridays be an ayamine lawyer wisdom aka wise man solicitors about a program we so last week in me but this week Nyame adom and yeah ba nti say after Wabe joining and the only say live or Facebook SBTV Africa page and also live or YouTube channel SBTV Africa. If I'm DJ Nyame, like, share, na tap on the subscribe, invite your friends. Na I'm gonna join here. We lawyer wisdom aka wise man solicitors. UK in common babidi. Into what person call UK? What UK? I feel no I could do. Problems are family are there. Lawyer was say wait maybe send the questions. Time they do the questions never bana we man no. Inti mami me go straight na encoding komo me nka sanche na me lawyer wisdom akaho solicitors embra ahoma so name bidding komo na say lawyer wo ho dia me go straight lawyer wisdom akaho lawyer boko there
me who you DJ na won so
yes you who you pa sisi amaba okuro mu nti me ni Ghana o me no nyina wa ha just that baby am meeting me baby awo no emuwa
emo san waka ho
ba me no nyina wa ha say bibia boko London there
bibia boko US who you dey
what change your office uko US never be kan o
bibia boko London sorry bibia boko London
lawyer and I about studio B me no nyina me was studio B
bibia boko we London why
hey lawyer one person no waka when you na me kan o
oh David ma no na phone yanti bibia boko
lawyer wisdom aka wise man solicitors and what about there and I also share then yanko straight because you see and sense right now no in no Ghana for Africans who the Ghana for the limited Ghana for abapa
yes
na bebre no so basa na the metete say ebi mu wo ho a sa keke COS ni sa keke ye de ba
yes
ba ya empembre en kan anu ntum yes say also person ba UK the ebi metu person ba UK enkofo na ke no so no be fa no so ebi wo ha yes ebi mu aka che say oni ejuma ususu person ba abruchi waji atum so oba onye ejuma nye waji atum efe de oba e no ejuma ni na ya start ye dede ebi mu ho so a omuni ejuma no so ho bombe da oba so a no ma ye osuli ya itama bebre I stranded as in Oma bedu una ya ofum besa o cheche mu kakra agency na no buy no ebia obedu onye adwuma nye ma untimi switching nko ana untimi nko another agency ho ana sa de MC treaty bibi sa but me hu se bi gofo bebre aba problems we ekoso pa ubu se social media bi mu su ena me buy me nye adwuma nye ena me buy me nye adwuma nye bebre enso me ne nkrofo so kasa o UK ha bebre so kire se enwuma ebu enyuma o UK pa abra bebre so hias ye me no nyina wa e ti say o mu hias skill workers ni ade enyuma o but then na ye ba yesu is it like bibi wo a ye betimi aye ye nhwe no so answer na other matters into lawyer mejama over to you do lati
With us, DJ, a chief for near point now, so yeah, mamo, evening. Yes, last week, due to several reasons, to me, but another right, DJ, straight to the point. Nea wokae no ɛyɛ ampa sɛ nnipa bebree aba kurom ha Ghanafoɔ bebree Nigerians, Zimbabweans, from other places waba because of the health and care opportunity na yɛde ama yɛn nti bebree aba kurom ha. Now, sɛ woba abɛyɛ adwuma a ideally ɛsɛ sɛ employer no kyerɛ sɛ adwuma wɔ hɔ ansa na wɔde saa COS no ɛde ama wo a wode aba. Unfortunately, things do happen. I remember an example. Ebia na employer no at the time na ɔma wo offer no sɛ bra bɛyɛ adwuma na ɔwɔ ebia 20 clients ɛna na ɔhwɛ 20, 30, 40 clients in a care home ana ɔwɔ ne home. Wabɛdu no ebia na circumstances asesa. Clients ne bi efi mu ana ebinom nso have moved to other homes. And to wabɛdu no ebia na yɛka sɛ he now has only 10 clients or 15 clients. On that basis, say our staff of about 20, 21 obviously, onya ejuma ema moina at the same time or different times, even if the rota shifts. You may not all be able to do the number of hours you are supposed to do before the week ends. Ɛhɔ no na yɛse sɛ biribi saa wɔ hɔ a, you may be able to work for 20 hours in another care-related employment. You can work additional 20 hours. Nti ɛsɛ sɛ wɔn ne employer no ɛyɛ adwuma ansa na wɔanya additional 20 hours bi ɛde aka ho from another care provider. It has to be in the same coded industry, the same industry. Wontumi ɛmfi care ɛnkɔyɛ adwuma wɔ IT. That is not possible. That is one. But in the instance wabedu employer no osi oni adwuma koraa na sɛ wobɛtumi anya another employer that is able to give you a sponsorship certificate, the certificate of the COS, certificate of sponsorship, you can shift from this employer to the new employer altogether. And so when you're another employer na ɔno ɛwɔ adwuma a ɔreyɛ a ana ɔwɔ adwuma a ɔpɛ nkurɔfoɔ a then you can shift from the current employer to the new employer, but you need to have the COS issued to you by the new employer. One year is you will be stranded. Now, so with 2 years, maybe ebi eba with 2 years, ebi eba with 3 years, and ebi nso ba with 5 years. Set one switch it and now one year with your employer, and that's a 2 years this one, you will not be able to extend your visa for another 3 years. And I am on 3 years, not set 1 year that's a 3 years this one, you will not be able to extend your visa for another 2 years to make it a total of 5 years. Omo 5 years this one, so 1 year not 5 years this one, you will not be able to extend to indefinite leave to remain because you have not met the conditions that are attached to you being a tier 2 worker, a skilled worker. You need to meet certain conditions before you will be able to extend up to 2 years or up to 3 years or up to 5 years for your indefinite leave to remain. So our advice is if you aren't getting work with your current employer, please see if you can explore other options to switch to another employer who has got the certificate of sponsorship and has got work to do. You will then be able to extend after either your 3 years, your 2 years, your 3 years, or your 5 years. If not, then you have a lot of difficulty. Now, the other time I advise somebody that by saying that if they can contact or seek for job with the NHS. If the NHS, maybe you do your own research and you find out that the NHS in a certain area, maybe outside of London or in London, and they have the sponsorship certificate and they are willing to ship you from your current employer to work with the NHS, that is a good area to explore. The problem we have is this. Sometimes ɛyɛ a na yɛpɛ sɛ obi na ɛnyɛ ɛmma yɛn na obi na ɛnyɛ mma yɛn mepɛ sɛ obi ɛnyɛ mma me. Please take up the challenge yourself. Contact the NHS, write to the NHS, apply for the jobs, and let them understand you need a sponsorship certificate. Once that is confirmed, you can switch from your current employer to your the NHS if you have a job with them. If you wait until the time is up, you would have yourself to blame. You would have yourself to blame. So that is it. Yes, ejuma wɔ hɔ, ejuma deɛ ɛwɔ hɔ, but you need to get the right employer who will then be able to issue the COS. Then you can shift to them, you can switch to them, or you carry on with the current employer and have an additional 20 hours with another employer in the same care industry to add up to what you're doing, and then you can carry on living in the UK. When the 5 years is up, you'll then be able to extend your leave for your indefinite leave to remain. If you don't do this, you will find yourself in a very difficult situation after your 2 years, your 3 years, or your 5 years expires. You will not be able to extend your visa. Now, that is that. There is another category where some people I have spoken with have switched into. The law does not stop you or bar you from switching into a spousal or a parent route. Example, where a person comes to the UK as a tier 2 worker, and once they came, they met a partner, they met somebody, and they've fallen into a relationship. The relationship has developed and blossomed, and it is genuine. If your spouse is a British citizen or they have indefinite leave to remain, you are then able to switch from your tier 2 visa to the spouse route. You can also switch. Or after you entered the UK, you entered into a relationship and you now have a child and your child is a British citizen, you are also able to switch from the tier 2 route to the parent route. That is in the case where you don't have work to do or you're not working with your sponsor, you can switch to the parent route or the partner route where you are a parent or you're a partner of a person who is settled in the United Kingdom. So that is what it is. Mentwɛn ɛmma wo visa ne ɛnwu ansa na you start thinking of how to change. If you do that, you will be in a very difficult position. Very, very difficult position. So that is my advice. DJ, there's a video be circulated. I think you sent me the video with regards to an advice a lady Abna is given for Sawo this health and care tier 2 sponsor route nisu na and you are not working or you are doing part time, not full time, for you to travel out of the UK on a holiday. That is a very sound advice because do the Heathrow, do the airport, and they begin to question you about Ejuma Wuye, baby Wuye Juma, how many hours you do, and they realize that you are doing a part-time rather than a full-time, that can affect your entry back into the UK. That would affect your entry back into the UK. They can cancel your visa, they can cancel your leave because the circumstances under which they gave you the leave are now different from what it was at the time you were issued. What you're doing now is totally different from why they gave you the visa. That can affect your entry back into the UK. So that was a very sound advice. There is another aspect of the advice that has to do with applying for visa for other countries that is equally sound. But of course, you need to know the requirements of those countries as to what they require for you to enter into those countries, either be Canada, any of the EU countries, the US, or any of these other countries I should talk about. Sound advice. So I would say yes, of course, people should consider it. But again, if you're in the UK, you're on a tier two visa, you aren't working with your sponsor, please, please, you need to find a solution to it before it gets too late. Otherwise, after 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you would have no basis of staying in the UK and you have a lot of difficulties trying to regularize your stay. So that is what it is. DJ, a problem is a huge problem. And also, what we are hearing right now is that the Home Office is taking action, is canceling or revoking the license of some care homes, canceling and revoking the license of some care providers. So I would also advise that if you're a care provider, please make sure your books are clean and your records are straight so that should the Home Office come there to check your compliance, you will be up to scratch so you don't have any difficulties. So that would be my advice as well. If you're a care provider, please ensure that your books are straight, your records are correct, so that you don't get struck off or you don't get removed from the records. Your certificate is not taken away from you. So that is a brief of what it is. You
Okay, lawyer, yeah, that's it. All the updates we bring, but o topic no say then.
My topic now may say why some indefinite leave applications are refused. A lot of times, ebinom kɔyɛ application for indefinite leave to remain na ɔmo refuse wɔn. First of all, Home Office bɛgye wo sika no. Ɔmo gye wo sika no wie a, ɔmo de bɛhyɛ ɔmo kotokuo mu. Ɔmo ɛmfa mma wo back, but indefinite no nso no, ɔmo ɛmfa mma wo na ɔmo asan ma wo another 2.5 years. Nti mepɛ sɛ mehwɛ adɛn nti anaa adeɛ nti ɛna obi a wɔgye di paa sɛ wɔyɛ eligible for indefinite leave to remain na wakɔ akɔyɛ application nanso yɛmfa mma no. I want to look at a few, one or two scenarios nti a ɛtumi ɛba saa so that you can avoid it and also you can make sure you don't waste money. Number one, sɛ obi aba UK ha as a spouse, woware ansa na woba. Woba no, wo yere anaa wo kunu ɛyɛ application ama wo. Yɛama wo 3 months as a visa sɛ fa bra UK ha. 3 months na yɛde ama wo no, wɔma wobɛdu UK ha no, yɛama wo another 2.5 years on your biometric card no so. Now, on that basis, ɛsɛ sɛ wotena UK ha for the first 2.5 years. Wotena UK for the first 2.5 years, ne wie a, you have to apply for another 2.5 years. Now I get a total of 5 years. So the initial one, you come to the UK under Appendix FM, Section ECP of the immigration rules, and you are given the leave, you're given 3 months, and once you enter the UK, you stay in the UK for 2.5 years, and then you have to apply for another 2.5 years under Appendix FM, Section LTRP 1.1 onwards as a partner. There are some occasions where people apply and they are given 2.5 years on the 10-year route rather than on the 5-year route. Now, unbeknown to them, they think they still have or they are still on the 5-year route. So after the 5 years, they then go and apply for indefinite leave to remain. And they are refused indefinite leave to remain, but they are given another 2.5 years. So let me give you some examples. Number one, Obi Awaba with 2.5 years as a spouse. Ɔno deɛ ɔnim sɛ after 5 years, ɔbɛnya indefinite leave to remain. Nanso, certain conditions are not met. There are about 5 conditions that have to be satisfied. Number one, relationship. Number two, immigration. Number three, financial requirement. Number four, English language requirements. And number five, accommodation. These 5 requirements are essential. If you do not meet these requirements, your visa will be refused, your application will be refused, or you'll be put on the 10-year route. So let me give you an example. In the case, wobaeɛ and for some reason woantumi anyɛ adwuma anaa wo kunu antumi anyɛ adwuma anaa mo mmienu mo antumi anyɛ adwuma to meet the 18,600. Maybe you hit 18,000, but you are short of £600 and you have some savings, but it is not equal to the required amount. Because you did not meet all the requirements, which is relationship, immigration, financial, English language, and accommodation, because you did not meet the financial, that is, you came short of the 18,600, your application will be considered and you'll be moved to the 10-year route. They will give you another 2.5 years, but they'll put you on the 10-year route. You are no longer on the 5-year route. So you have to pay a very good attention to that. If you don't pay attention to that, you would assume that you're still on the 5-year route leading to indefinite leave to remain. But because you did not meet the financial requirements, if there is a child involved, you will be put on the 10-year route. So they've taken you off the 5 years and they put you on the 10 years. If that happens, after you've done the second 2.5 years, you think that you have done 5 years and therefore you are eligible for indefinite leave to remain. No, you are not. Because you did not meet the financial requirement, you've been put on the 10-year route from 5 years to 10 years. And therefore, you need to do the application 3 more times before you get your indefinite. Now, if you don't know this, you apply, you refuse. So that is one reason why indefinite leave applications are refused, because people do not meet the financial requirement. Always ensure you meet the financial requirement throughout the 5 years. In that case, you will be fine and you don't have to worry if you're going for the indefinite leave to remain. Occasion number two is that there are occasions where people also don't meet the English language test requirement. Now, when you were coming from Ghana, you had to do the English language test at level A1. A1. English language test level A1. That was the level you have to pass. Or if you had a first degree certified by NARIC or ECTIS, in that case, you meet the English language requirement. But let's look at people who don't have the degree, but they wrote the English language test. Now, if you wrote the English language test, speaking and listening, and you passed the A1, and you came to the UK, before you go for the indefinite, before you go for another 2.5, you have to pass level A2. So we've moved from A1 to A2, A1 to A2. If you did not pass the English language test, but there is a child involved, you will be placed on the 10-year route, not on the 5-year route. You will be moved again from the 10-year route to the 5-year route under Appendix FM Section LTRP again on the 10-year route, not on the 5-year route. So I would advise everybody to please look at the letter that came from the Home Office, the decision letter, and check whether you've been put on the 10-year route or on the 5-year route. Were you placed on the 10-year route or on the 5-year route? If it's on the 10-year route, if you go for your indefinite leave after 5 years, it will be refused. It will be refused. So English language is also one factor where people who don't pass it going for indefinite leave after 5 years, even though they've been put on the 10 years, get refused. It will be refused. Number three, immigration status requirement. Now, if for any reason at all your visa expired and you did not apply within 14 days grace period, and you applied after that, and there is a child, again, I'm talking about a child involved in the relationship, because of the child, you will be given 2.5 years, but this time not on the 10-year route, sorry, not on the 5-year route, but on the 10-year route. A lot of people do not know when they've been moved from the 5 years to the 10 years. They still assume that they are on the 5 years. And should you go and apply on that basis, your application will be refused because you are on the 10-year route. You have to finish the 10 years, not 5 years. So please, that is another reason why a lot of people are refused the indefinite leave because they do not understand that they've been moved from the 5-year route to the 10-year route. And it is because they did not meet the immigration status requirement. Your visa expired before you applied, and you did not apply within the 10 days or within the 14 days grace period, the 10 working days grace period. You did not apply within that time after your visa has expired. Because of that, you will be put on the 10-year route. If there is a child, if there is no child, they'll refuse you outright. They tell you to go back to your country and apply from there and come back. But if there's a child involved, then you will be able to apply on they will give you on the 10-year route and not on the 5-year route. Then there is another option. There's another reason too why people's indefinite leave applications are refused. Now, date of entry, wrongly calculating the date of entry. You have to calculate the date that you enter the UK and then check whether you meet the requirements of the person who is supposed to go for indefinite leave to remain. If not, you will be refused. So let me give you an example. If somebody comes with 2.5 years as a spouse, we start counting your 5 years from the date of entry. Now, if you are supposed to do 60 months, ideally 59 months, because you applied 28 days before it expires. If you apply too early because you miscalculated for indefinite leave, your application will be refused. The Home Office will take your money and they will refuse your application. They'll give you another 2.5 years instead of giving you the indefinite leave to remain. Now, another category of people who are also usually refused indefinite leave application are people who switched from the 10-year route to the 5-year route. If you switched from the 10-year route or 10-year route to the 5-year route, you are supposed to do the 5 years from scratch. Want to make enkofa 2.5 years now we are on the parent route no, and back 2.5 years on the partner route no, and ultimately it will be refused. So if you've shifted from a partner route 5 years to a parent route, you start that from the scratch. Or if you switch from the parent route 5 years to a partner route 5 years, you start the partner route 5 years from the start. However, you can add 2.5 parent, 2.5 partner, 2.5 partner, 2.5 parent, 10 years, you will get indefinite leave to remain. So you can add 2.5 from different sectors to get a 10 years, and you can still apply for your indefinite leave to remain. But you cannot add 2.5 from one, 2.5 from another to get 5 years and go for your indefinite leave to remain. It has to be 5 years on one route, either 5 years on parent route or 5 years on partner route, that you can go for your indefinite leave to remain. So these are the reasons why a lot of applications, and I'm seeing a lot of it these days. Now, should you go to your lawyer and your lawyer tells you, based on my calculation, you do not meet the indefinite leave to remain requirement, please, please, I would advise that you listen to it, because if you insist and you are refused, the Home Office would apply some consequences to it for you. You'll be put again maybe on the 10-year route, as I've already said, and then you may have to pay some additional money. So that is what it is. A student, example, who came to the UK to study, and during the studies, they meet a partner. Now, the partner is a British citizen, or the partner has indefinite leave to remain. Now, if the student's visa is still valid, they can switch straight away to the partner route on the 5 year route. In that case, they do 5 years as a partner, they go for indefinite leave to remain. That is where the student visa is still valid. If the student visa has expired, then the student cannot be on the 5 year route. They have to be on the 10-year route. The 10-year route means you have to start from the scratch, 10 years. But after you've been given the first 2.5 years, you are then able to switch to the 5 year route, provided you and your partner have a child, or your partner has a child. In that case, you can switch from the 10-year route to the 5 year route. Once your visa expires, you will first be placed on the 10-year route. Let me explain it again. If your visa has expired, you will first be placed on the 10-year route. Once you place on the 10-year route, then you can make another application to move to the 5 year route. You will never be put straight on the 5 year route if your visa has expired. You would always be placed on the 10-year route, and then you make another application before you switch back to the 5 year route. So that is what it is. So if you're a student and you are switching to the spousal route, remember or check if your visa is still valid, you'll be on the 5 year route. If your visa is expired, you'll be on the 10-year route. That's right. Also, a person who is on the tier 2 skilled worker, either as a minister of religion or in any other category as a tier 2 worker, skilled worker, if you also switch from the care, the religious basis, or any other basis to the any other category, you maybe the category of a spouse or a parent, you would also have to meet the 5 year on that route to be able to get your indefinite leave to remain. You cannot add what you've done on the care route to what you're going to do as a parent or as a partner. That would normally not work. It might be refused. Now, if you apply for indefinite leave to remain, and the Home Office says, we don't believe that you are eligible, you don't meet the requirements for indefinite leave to remain, and therefore we have considered to give you another 2.5 years. What do they do? Remember, when you are applying for indefinite leave, you do not pay the IHS. You do not pay IHS when you apply for indefinite leave to remain. But if they have to put you on the on the 2.5 year route, if they have to put you on the 2.5 years instead of the indefinite, they will require you to go and pay the IHS. Now remember, you pay about £2,500 for indefinite leave. You pay about 2,500 or so for indefinite leave. If they are not going to give you the indefinite, they would ask you to go and pay another £1,560 for the IHS before they give it to you. And that will come under the section 1, section 6, 1, subsection CII, section 6, 1, subsection CII. That is where it says under the Immigration Help Charge Order 2015, Section 6, 1 CII of the Immigration Order, Immigration Charge Order 2015, you are required to pay the IHS fee of £1,560 before they will give you the 2.5 years. If you do not pay, your application will be refused. And if it is refused, you become an overstayer. You might be asked to leave the country. So it is better to avoid wasting money by paying for indefinite if you are not qualified. If you haven't passed the life in the UK, don't go for your indefinite. Rather go for another 2.5 years. Once you pass, then you can go for your indefinite. If you haven't passed the required level of English or you don't have the degree, you don't meet the financial requirements, please don't go straight for indefinite. You may go for an extension, and then that enables you to put your things in order before you can go for your indefinite leave to remain. Always refer to the decision letter. Always refer to the Home Office decision and find out what did they say on that letter. Are you on the 10-year route or you are on the 5-year route? That will help you to know which application to make. Otherwise, you will be wasting money. You will be wasting money since you would not be eligible for the indefinite leave to remain. Meanwhile, they will take your £2,500 and then they ask you again to pay the um, the IHS of £1,560. So, DJ, I'll leave it here, and I believe there might be some questions. If there are, I'll respond to them. If not, then we'll see how best we can handle this.
Okay, lawyer, please continue.
Thank you. Right. So I also want to look at the possible solutions to if you have been refused, your indefinite leave has been refused. What is the possible? Um, what should you do to avoid being refused in the first place? So in the first place, check if you are eligible. Do you meet the relationship requirement? Do you meet? Are you and your partner still living together? Do you have proof of address, at least for the last 2 years? Do you meet evidence? Do you have the evidence to prove that you meet the requirement of relationship? Your marriage certificate, do you still have it? Or if it is based on durable relationship or partnership, do you have the proof for 2 years? You must ensure you have this, otherwise, the application will be refused. So look at your documents, check your documents, and ensure that you meet the relationship requirement. Number two, immigration status requirement. Do not allow your visa to expire. Please set up a reminder on your phone so that you ensure you renew your application within time. Don't let your visa or leave expire before you apply. There is an application I am dealing with, in fact, an appeal I am dealing with now. The gentleman, yes, waited until his visa expired, and it expired about 2 months before he brought the application to be submitted. I told him straight away, your application will be refused because I could foresee what the outcome was going to be. I told him it will be refused. And if you don't want to avoid this, please go back to Ghana and then apply to come back. He said, no, please put it in. You have advised me, but I still want to take my chances. We put in the application and it was refused because he did not apply before his visa expired. Now we have taken it to court. We are trying to raise grounds, his human rights, his family life, his private life, etc., etc. We're raising all of this, but I still can foresee what the possible outcome will be because it is more likely than not to be dismissed. There are other factors which we are bringing in to help him to succeed anyway. So please ensure you apply within time. Do not allow your visa to expire before you apply. Number three, make sure you meet the financial requirement. The requirement is 18,600 pounds. 18,600 pounds. You alone, you and your wife, or your wife alone. So the woman alone, if she meets the 18,600, it's okay. The man alone, if he meets the 18,600, it's okay. Or both of you, the woman is earning 9,000, the man is earning 10,000. If you put it together, it is 19,000. That is okay. So ensure you meet the financial requirement at all times before you submit your application. It is required that you provide 6 months pay slips, 6 months bank statements, P60. Now, if for any reason you are not able to meet the requirements, let's say you've started a new job, you have not been working for the last 1 year, your spouse hasn't been working for the last 1 year, and then maybe also when you started work is just 3 months. Clearly, you can't meet the 6 months requirement. In that case, you have to use a tactics to not overstay. Whatever happens, you have to apply before your visa expires. That when we meet one on one, I can then explain how it works. You have to apply before your visa expires, and then there may have to be another application during the process. So you may have two applications, and then one will be varied to make sure you still meet the requirements. So that is that. Make sure you always apply before your visa expires. That is that. The English language, I've already spoken about it. The life in the UK, English language, I've spoken about it. Make sure you apply before your visa expires as well. Accommodation is one other thing. Please ensure that you have sufficient accommodation for yourself and your spouse. The accommodation is supposed to be one room, two people, two rooms, three people, three rooms, five people, etc., etc. So if it's just you and your spouse, one room is enough. But if there are children involved, then make sure you have enough accommodation before you proceed with the application. Otherwise, your application may be refused. May be refused. So make sure you have all the documents: 6 months pay slip, 6 months bank statement, letter from employer, your P60, the tenancy agreement, proof of cohabitation for 2 years, and additional documents to show that the relationship is genuine. Once you apply, I can tell you for a fact that your visa or your leave will be extended. If for any reason at all, if for any reason at all, you do not meet the requirements for indefinite and there is no child involved or any insurmountable obstacle, let's say medical reasons involved, then you may have to consider going back home, stay back home for a year, and then apply to come back to the UK. Otherwise, you become an overstayer, and that jeopardizes your chance of ever coming back to the UK. If you are arrested, detained, and removed, that may ban you from coming to the UK for about 10 years. But if you yourself you go voluntarily, and then you can apply after 1 year to come back to join your spouse here in the UK. But if there is a child involved, then you do not need to go out. If there is a child involved, you don't need to go out. Based on the child, you will be able to get your stay in the UK under Appendix FM section, leave to remain as a partner. With regards to EX1 exception 1, that is a child that you have in a relationship, and because of the child's best interest, welfare, well-being, upbringing, you will get your stay, but it will be put on the 10-year route. So generally, these are just some of the ways to navigate the system genuinely and in accordance with the rules so that you don't find yourself wanting when your leave expires. Make sure you meet the requirements: relationship, immigration, financial, English language requirement, accommodation. And once you meet all of this, I can assure you that you would remain in the UK without having any difficulties. If for any reason at all this fails, but there is a medical reason why you cannot leave the UK. Example, maybe your wife is receiving medical treatment and you cannot leave her, or your husband is receiving medical treatment and you cannot leave him and go away for a year, then of course you can appeal against the decision, and then you can use the medical reasons as a basis why you cannot leave, but you had to appeal within the UK. Or let's say if the parties are trying to have a kid, trying to have a child, and you need to be attending uh, hospitals to see, have a lot of tests done. Of course, if the woman leaves or the man leaves, you will not be able to attend those medical treatments to have a child as you wish. So that could also be a reason for seeking to stay in the UK. If your leave expires and your visa is refused, you will then be able to make the application based on those factors. And if the application is refused, you can appeal based on the other additional factors that I've just mentioned. So, DJ, I think I've exhausted a bit of this aspect. If there are any questions, I'm happy to address it.
Okay, lawyer wisdom Macau, wise man solicitor said that's it. Say, maybe I know. On a program way. Yes, your questions you are made Bible to so now. More questions you are with maybe Sano. If you have any questions to ask, you can ask. Just type in the comment section. I'm in front of on camera. There was a few ones be about um I'm in front of so. Okay, lawyer, I take you away.
Oh, hi. Welfare. Please, is it possible that the Home Office will deny EU family member application without stating any reason in refusal letter? Thank you both for your great job. Yeah, thank you too. Welfare. No, the Home Office will always give a reason for a refusal. Now, if even the application is not valid, they will tell you you haven't made a valid application, which means probably you didn't use the correct form, or you didn't pay the application fee, or you didn't do what you're supposed to do. They would by all means give you a reason. They would not just say, we refuse the application. For what reason? There has to be a reason. So it is not normal or possible for the Home Office to just say, here are your documents. Dear sir, here are your documents. Full stop. No, they have to give you a reason. Your application has been refused. And the reasons for refusal are as follows: one, two, three, four, five. That will then enable you to either appeal or apply for administrative review to challenge the decision. So, short answer is no. It's not possible for them to just refuse without giving you any reasons. They have to give you a reason. Hello, Miss Owusu. The question is how to join a pensioner husband with British passport whose yearly income is not up to £18,000. Yeah, thank you very much. I dealt with this situation a few weeks ago. The gentleman, very fine gentleman, elderly man who has been in the UK for several years and has lived his life, is now on pension. He's receiving state pension and another private pension. And it adds up to not the £18,600. So in this case, the pensions will count. But in his case, he's got some savings So the shortfall of between the 18.6 and what he receives in pensions, when we subtracted it, it came down to a shortfall of about £1,000. Now the £1,000, we had to multiply 1,000 by 2.5. That is about £2,500 plus £16,000. So that takes it to £18,500 in his account for 6 months. Because we were able to add the funds, the cash to the pensions, he will be able to meet the threshold. So, in the case where the pensioner is not able to meet the 18,600, we would then want to see if there is some savings, if he's got some savings that we can use to work out the difference for him. Or it is also possible in some cases to add different categories. If this pensioner has some property, maybe he's got some rental properties, he's rented some house or flat or something, and he gets some rental income from that property, we may be able to add whatever he receives from there in a year to his pensions to determine if the 18,600 requirement is satisfied. Once that is satisfied, then you may be able to join your spouse here in the UK. So that is my response. I need to see the paperwork before I can give a more detailed answer. Hello, Adu Ibrahim. Please, if I came as a dependent to the UK, what time can I divorce my partner? Well, as for divorce, nobody can say divorce your partner today, tomorrow, or the day after. It's your own relationship. It depends on what you're going through, the circumstances under which you are. But I think if I have to rephrase the question by asking, if you divorce your partner, what will be your immigration status? If you divorce your partner, what will be your immigration status? Now, if you came as a dependent and you divorce, you are no longer a dependent. So if your dependent is going to renew their visa, you will not be able to renew with them because you are divorced. You are no longer a dependent. So I would say, if you came as a dependent, if for whatever reason things are not working out and you can still try to resolve your problems until at least 5 years when you all are stable, you have your indefinite, and I'm sure you can still work it after that. If not, the relationship breaks down, unfortunately, you cannot extend your leave as a partner. You may have to find another way to stay in the UK before you can extend in the future. Hello, Mr. Ibrahim Munkaila. I made application for for someone to visit me in the UK and they refused. And we are given a permission to appeal. Will the court allow new evidence, please? Now, it depends on which application you made. If you made an application, you said to visit me, it's very interesting that a visit visa you've been given permission to appeal because usually they do not give permission for visit visa refusals. But if you've been given the permission to appeal, yes, of course, you can appeal and then you can ask permission to produce new evidence, which was already there. If you didn't supply it before the refusal, you already had it, but you didn't provide it before the refusal, you can always ask permission and ask the court to provide the additional evidence to support the appeal. Yes, so you can go ahead and do that, but ask permission from the court to get the um, new evidence submitted. Hello, Miss Coy. I hope you're good. It's a long time. I miss you. Yes, please, someone who has HND requires to do the English test before coming on a spousal visa. Thank you. Yes, unfortunately, yes, HND is very high, but they only recognize degree, which is first degree or master's. But even if you have the first degree, Then, of course, you need to send it to the UK. You need your transcript, degree certificate, and a letter of proficiency in English. You need these three documents: the transcripts, the degree certificate, and then a letter of proficiency in English. These three documents, you need it. Send it to UK ECTIS, ECCTIS. Then they will do the comparability test to see if the degree in Ghana was taught in English and is equivalent to a degree in the UK. If that happens, then yes, they can come to the UK without having to write the English language test. If it is a HND, I know some of the universities or some of the higher institutions in Ghana have been changed into universities, and whatever qualifications they offer may be equivalent to a degree. Yes, again, you can send them to ECTIS, ECCTIS. They are an organization that will check the documents and give you a letter to confirm that yes, the degree or this qualification is equivalent to a degree in the UK, or it meets the standard of the IELTS or the standard of the A1 or A2 and above, then they don't have to write the English language test. So, Ms. Salome Koi, yes, that is my response. Please call me sometime and let's talk. Yeah, thanks so much for always, you are such a very loyal listener and you always follow this program. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to you, Ms. Salome Koi. Um, Emisa Amponsa, hello. Emilisa, oh, hello. Emilisa. Please, I did a visa through an agent and it was refused. But the agent has refused to give me the refusal letter. Can I apply to a different visa and will the Home Office ask about the previous one? Yes. Emilisa, yes, they will always ask you if you've been refused a visa before. So it is always best to have the refusal from the previous application so that when they ask you, have you been refused a visa before? Your answer should be yes. And then the next question will be reason for refusal. And then you can state, probably you can say the visit visa requirements were not satisfied or the requirements were not met. If you are able to do that, then of course you should be fine. But I would always advise you to ensure you have the refusal decision from the previous application. Otherwise, they can use that as a factor against you. And Melissa. All right. Mr. Solomon Buafo. Hey, my brother, how are you? I hope you are good. Solomon Buafo is a good man. Can you ask lawyer elaborate on the financial requirements, please? All right, my brother, I will. The financial requirement, there's a difference between financial requirement and maintenance requirement. The difference between the financial requirement and then the maintenance requirement. People confuse these two, but they are exclusive. They are totally different, and the requirements are totally different. The financial requirements means that you have to meet the 18,600. 18,600 is the threshold for the financial requirement. 18,600 pounds, not less. 18600. You need to provide pay slips, 6 months, bank statements, 6 months, P60, letter from employer stating your employment, when you started, how much you earn, when you started, and that level of income, and all those additional information have to go to confirm that you truly meet the 18,600. I have seen pay slips that the money does not reflect in the account. It will be used against you because there is no proof that the money which shows on the payslip is reflecting in the account. How can you prove that it is genuine? So please, whatever happens, whether you paid by check or cash or bank transfer, it has to reflect in the account. So that is for the financial requirement, 18,600 for a spouse. If there's a child involved, the first child is plus 3,800. So 18,600 plus 3,800. If there's a second child involved, it is 18,600 plus 3,800 plus 2,400. And every additional child will be 2,400, 2,400, 2,400. So that is to meet the financial requirement. Now let's come to the maintenance requirement. Now, before I go to the maintenance requirement, the financial requirement you can have, we have different categories, category A, B, C, D, etc. You can meet it through employment, salaried employment. So your pay slips, bank statements, etc. will show. Or you can meet it through self-employment. If you're a self-employed person, you can still prove that you meet the requirements. If you have your SA 302, you have your unique tax reference number, you have your 1 year self-employment bank statement, you have your self-assessment, you have a letter from your accountant, and your profits. In this case, we're talking about profit, not turnover. Your profit is 18,600. Then you meet the financial requirement as well. That is also that aspect. Another way to meet the financial requirement is if you have rental income. Like I said, you have properties here and there, and you have all of that. You can get money from your properties from all angles. You can, of course, use that to also meet your money requirement of the 18,600. Maybe you have property in Chelsea, one in Luton, three in Croydon, four in, let's say, Battersea. You can bring all of this together. The monies you receive as your rental income, you can add all of this. It will take you about the 18,600, and then you meet the financial requirement. Another way to meet the financial requirement is the pensions. Like somebody asked, if you're receiving pensions and it adds up to that, of course, then of course again you meet the financial requirement. If you're a director of a company, of course, again you may meet the financial requirement through your dividends, your pay, and everything else, but it has to add up to over 18,600 pounds. So these are just a few areas that you can use to meet the financial requirement. Then I switch to the maintenance. The maintenance is not the maintenance is not 18,600. It is, we use the income support level to determine if you meet the maintenance. Income support level, income support level, and the case law in that area is the case of Uvovo. The case of Uvovo says if you meet the income support level, then certainly you will be able to show that you're able to look after yourself and your dependents without going for additional benefit. So I think a parent is about 73 pounds or so. I think that figure, and a child, no, a parent is about 80 something pounds, and a child is around 73 pounds. I haven't checked recently. I will check and then I'll let you know maybe in my next submission. So, yes, once you can look after yourself, your wife, your children without going for additional benefits, and whatever you have is above the income support level, the level that the government supports you, you are fine. It means you've met the income support level maintenance, whereas the financial is 18,600 pounds. So please, that is my response to your question as well. Hello, Prosper Blake. What is the app for visa expiration alert? What is the app for visa expiration alert? I don't think there is any app. I haven't checked if there's any app, but this is what I do. I tell my clients that once you receive your leave, please save it on your phone and set a reminder Set a reminder on your phone every 2 months to remind you of when your leave is going to expire. I have certain things that I've set for even 2025, 2024, 2025. So every 3 months, it reminds me, it rings, then I know what it is. Do not let your visa expire. The phones we have, the telephones we have, they are for a good cause. The phones are for a good cause. So set reminders on your phone. And on that basis, you will be able to remind yourself every time your reminder goes. I don't think there is an app for it, but you have to set your own reminders monthly, weekly, daily, and then that will help you to know when your visa is expiring so that you don't overstay. Thank you. Kofi Efa, when you came on skilled worker visa with your wife, and due to some reasons you break up, is that going to affect you when you apply for the indefinite leave to remain in the next 5 years? Yes, it will affect you. Remember, you came as a spouse. So if you're a dependent, if you're a dependent and if you're a dependent, if, if you're a dependent and you are uh, based on the main sponsor and the sponsor, now you are divorced, you are separated. As long as you are not based on the sponsor, you cannot renew your visa. So I say you are a tree, or the sponsor is a tree, and you are the branch. If the branch is cut off from the stem or the main tree, the branch cannot survive. So, yes, if you came with a skilled worker visa with your wife, but the relationship breaks up, it's going to affect you when it comes to renewing of your leave. It is possible that there might be some misunderstanding which happens, but if you can reconcile and come back, and then your leave is due to be to expire, and you can reconcile, she gives you whatever you need, or you give her whatever she needs, then she can apply to extend your leave. But if there's a total break, then of course, and unfortunately, you are not able to extend based on your spouse if there is a break in the relationship. Sorry. Wilson Day Roger. Hi. If your partner is EU and you are on 5 year route and it's time to renew to leave to your leave to remain, long long does it take? How long does it take? Okay. How long does it take the indefinite leave to remain to come? Well, the Home Office is now not proactive and they are not in a hurry to issue people with their indefinite leave to remain, especially under the EU route. When we were at the peak of Brexit, decisions were coming 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks, We even got some decisions within a day, but now they are not bothered. It's taking them sometimes 6 months, 8 months. They're not making decisions, sometimes 3 months. So it's so difficult to give you a specific time for a decision to come. But I would say give yourself up to 6 months, hopefully. If it comes within the 6 months, fine. If not, then you can follow up and ask them for an update. I had an application. I had an application with the Home Office and it was more than 1 year. I was calling, I was checking up, I called the EU settlement scheme, I speak to the case workers, I speak to the people who answer. They always leave a note on their records. And then on one occasion, one of the case workers called me and said, I am going to send you an email requesting for additional documents from your clients. And once they send this to me, I would make a decision. I asked his name. He said, I'm sorry, but we don't give our names. Some do, but he said he wasn't going to give me his name, but he's the case worker. I said, that's right. Thank you, sir. I'm grateful. I'm still looking forward to your email. 2 days' time, He said he was going to send the email the same day. He didn't. The next day, he didn't. The second day, I got the email, and can you believe it? You know what I got? Indefinite leave to remain straight from my client. I'm like, wow, this is a miracle. So sometimes it delays, but it delays for a good cause. So give yourself 6 months, and I hope a good decision will come for you. Mr. Efa, if you came on a skilled worker visa and I want to divorce my partner, is that going to affect me when I apply for my? Well, yes, I think I've responded to this. Yes, it depends. If you've lived here for 5 years and you go for your indefinite leave, that's fine because you've already been here for 5 years as a spouse anyway. But if you divorce before the 5 years or you divorce before the time is up, then of course you have to find a way of regularizing your stay. It can affect your indefinite leave to remain. Now, my question then is, are you the dependent or you are the main applicant? If you are the main applicant, then you don't have a problem. But the dependent will have a lot of difficulty because they are supposed to be dependent on the the main sponsor. So if you are detached, the sponsor can still renew their leave, but the applicants, the dependents, will have difficulties in renewing their visa. Evans Lawrence, hi. Good evening. Good evening. Please, in case someone comes with a student visa and the person couldn't go to the school, what exactly can the person do to ensure that she can stay in the UK? Now, this is what is happening. In the last few months, I have seen decisions from the Home Office canceling people's student visas because the universities informed the Home Office that the individuals did not attend as expected. And on that basis, the Home Office has written to cancel their leave. And they've given them so I think 90 days to regularize their leave or leave the country. Unfortunately, they do not have the right of appeal or administrative review against such decisions. Now, if you come to the UK or if you came to the UK with a student visa and you don't attend the school or the uni, it is possible that the university will inform the Home Office. Now, if you are able to switch, maybe you have a child, you can switch to the parent route, or you are married, you can switch to the partner route before it is cancelled or revoked. There has to be a genuine relationship with your partner, with your child. If that happens, you can switch to another category in the UK. So, but I would always encourage you to say, if you know that you have not been to the uni or you are not attending, then act quick before your leave is revoked. Act quickly. Don't wait until your visa is expired, so until your visa is cancelled before you come looking for solution. That puts you in a very difficult situation. So, exactly what can you do? Exactly what you can do is consider switching to another category genuinely, and you should be fine. Greetings to you. Thank you. Apostle sounds acrobi. Hello, Apostle. APS. Greetings to you, Honorable Reverend Lawyer Wisdom. Please, I'm on skilled worker visa, but have not worked for 8 months now. If I get a new sponsorship, would my application be successful? I hope it should be successful because all the ones I have done so far for people who have switched, they did not ask about their previous work. They didn't ask about their previous pay slips or bank statements or anything of the sort. What we did was based on the current sponsorship license that they have, and then we applied on that basis. I haven't seen any question that was asking about their previous leave or work in the past 6 months or so. So, yes, if you have a sponsor, I would say yes, you can quickly apply to switch in the new category to the new sponsor. Yes, so please go ahead. Rati Madridista. Do you need to provide all your refusal letters before you can make new application or just the last refusal letters? Thank you. You don't have to provide the refusal letters. You don't have to physically provide the refusal letters, but you need to know the dates of the refusal and the reasons for the refusal. You have to state them. Sometimes they ask you the last refusal, you put it there. Then they ask you, have you had another problem? You stick it there. So if it is two times, three times, please make sure you provide all. The one that you leave out will be the one on which they base the refusal. So ensure you provide all the refusal reasons and dates, not necessarily the refusal letters. On the form, the dates and the reasons. Sometimes you don't remember the date, but you remember the year. It happens. And I've done it for quite a few people. They don't remember the month, the day, and the month. So what I do is I give a reason that yes, the application was refused in this year, but I am unable to recollect the actual date. You have been honest. They cannot use that against you. They cannot use that against you. Or you can say, I do not recall the exact month. So, in order for me to continue with the form, I have inputted 01/01/2012. But that may not be the correct date. But because I do not recollect the correct date, that is why I put that date in there to allow me to carry on with the application process. So, yes, try as much as you can. At least remember the year, and then you can give an explanation as to the refusals and why you cannot recollect the actual dates, the day and the month of the refusal of your previous application. Don't hide anything, please. Francisco Yabur, hi. I have Italian passport and have the settlement scheme in the UK. Can I apply for a dependent visa for my nephew in Ghana? It depends on me financially. Auntie Patricia, Francisca, I'm sorry, Auntie Francisca, unfortunately, you cannot. You cannot apply on the basis of your EU settlement or on your EU passport because on the 31st of December 2020 at 11 p.m. in the night, the UK left the EU. All cousins, nephews, uncles, aunties, nieces have been cut off from the EU nationals. So you cannot apply for your nephew as a dependent to come and join you in the UK because, like I said, on the 31st of December 2020, 11 p.m., the UK divorced from the EU and the EU divorced or cut off all extended family members, including nephews, nieces, uncles, aunties, brothers, sisters were all cut off. So unfortunately, you cannot apply for your nephew. Hello, Mr. Isaac Kubi. Can you apply citizenship with indefinite leave to remain when staying in the UK for 4 years? It depends on the route on which you are. If you're on the spouse route and your spouse is a British citizen, then you have to do you have to do 3 years. So by the time you ended up getting your indefinite, you have already crossed the 3 years. So if you get indefinite today, you can apply for your British citizenship tomorrow. But if your spouse is someone who has indefinite leave to remain, then you have to wait for 5 years plus 1 year on top of it. The residential requirement is 5 years for people who are in the UK as spouses of a person who has indefinite leave to remain, plus 1 year. So in total, it becomes 6 years. But if your spouse is a British citizen, it is 3 years. And before you get your indefinite, which is 5 years, you have already crossed the 3 years. Therefore, as soon as you get your indefinite, quickly apply for your British citizenship. Junior Lord K. After switching, can your partner be on your COS if there is a breakup? Now, we have dealt with a situation like this just last week. I mean, we deal with all kinds of situations. We dealt with a situation like this. The relationship broke up. The man went on to get COS. He's been granted his leave as a person who has a is a as a skilled worker, as a health and care worker, and the relationship broke up. Somehow they reconciled, and the woman has been put on the man's COS, and thankfully she has also been granted. So yes, if there's a total breakup and there is no reconciliation, unfortunately, your spouse cannot be on your COS. But if for any reason there is reconciliation, things have come back together, you have now falling in love with each other again, and you want to make amends and move on as husband and wife, then of course your spouse can be on your COS, provided their visa or their leave is not expired yet. So that is where we stand. Drew Warful, good evening, good evening. I live just outside London and I'm struggling with career transitioning since coming into the UK 5 years ago. I'm not happy with the job I do now. Any advice, please? Well, you haven't told me what visa you have. If I knew the type of visa you have, then I can advise whether you go study further to improve yourself or get into a profession, either as a um, social worker, or go to back to uni, or go back to nursing, or go back to the law or something. I need to see what visa you have. If you don't have a visa, then that becomes difficult for me to advise which way to go. Na Akushika Lamte. Hi, hello. If I, hello, please, if I overstay my visa and I willingly go home, how long will it take me to reapply again? And which visa will I apply for? Well, if you go back by yourself willingly, you have to be out for 1 year, 12 months. Then you can reapply to come back. And of course, if you're in a relationship, you can apply for spouse visa if you're married. If you want to come back as a student, then you have to apply for a student visa. If you want to apply as a health worker, you apply for the skilled worker visa. If you want to come in another category, then of course you identify the category in which you want to come, and then you can make the application in that sector, in that category. So you have to know which sector you want to come before we can make the application in that specific area. But with regards to how long you can stay out, it is usually 12 months if it is for spouse visa, and you left voluntarily 1 month, 1 year, you can come back as a person who has been in the UK before. All right. Could be Isaac. I got my indefinite leave to remain in my first year in the UK, and can I apply for citizenship in 4 years' time? Yes, if you got your indefinite leave to remain a year after you go to the UK, and you are more than 18 years, Section 6, Schedule 1 2 of the British Nationality Act 1981 has some specific requirements there. The English language, residential requirements, life in the UK, and some other requirements, good character requirements. So, in your case, if you're more than 18 years, then you have to be in the UK for 5 years before you can meet the residential requirements for indefinite leave. Sorry, for British citizenship. Yes, so yes, 4 years time you can apply for indefinite. Sorry, for citizenship once you've been here for 5 years. Whilst you're waiting for leave to remain on EU scheme with an EU partner, you also have pre-settlement while which expires in 2025, but your biometric expires in November next month. Can you travel outside the country, and would you be allowed back to the country without no biometric? No, I would not advise you. If your biometric is expired or expires in November, I would not advise you to step out. Going out is not a problem, coming back will be an issue. Please don't. Just wait until you get a replacement biometric residence card. Do not step out. If you go out, going out is easy, coming back may be impossible for you. So I would not advise you to do that. If you are on sponsorship visa but the company doesn't have any job for you, can your visa be cancelled? Well, the company is supposed to have a job for you, but if for any reason at all there is no job for you, counseling, I don't think they can cancel it unless they inform the Home Office. But would the company want to also jeopardize their license by reporting to the Home Office that they don't have job for you because they promised that there was going to be job for you in the first place? Unfortunately, you can't take them to court. You can't take them to employment tribunal because if they say they don't have work, they don't have work. Unfortunately, if there's no job, there's no job, and you can't do much. And you can't claim any entitlement because you've not been employed with them maybe for a year and etc. So some of these employers are exploring and exploiting these loopholes. So yes, my answer will be it shouldn't be cancelled if you have a good understanding with the employer whilst they are trying to look for some work for you to do. Yes. Greetings, Reverend Andrews Ofori. Hello, Rev. Can please does my time spent on my previous sponsorship count towards my indefinite leave to remain? Usually, usually, if you're on a sponsorship visa, the time you spent as a skilled worker in one category can count towards the time you spend on the second one for your indefinite. Yes. So if you're in the same category, care to care, 2 years, 3 years, total of 5 years, that may work towards your indefinite leave. Or 3 years plus 2 years in the same industry, then it may add up to 5 years, and then you can go for your indefinite leave to remain. But this is an area I need to explore a little more. So you can call if you have to. You can call me next week, Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll do a little research for you, but I strongly believe you can combine the two from different employers in the same employment code sector for your indefinite leave to remain. Yeah, Japuma, Japuma. I am here to say thank you. Thank you too. I'm currently in the UK and it was your help that got me here. Oh, thank you. I'm grateful we are able to help. You spoke to me without asking for consultation fee. Thank you again and thank you too. Yeah, thank you for at least coming to show appreciation by saying, letting everybody knows that we have been of some help to you. We are grateful. We are here to help as much as we can. We thank you. Call us sometime and let's have a chat. Welcome to the United Kingdom. Somebody will say United Kingdom of America. Welcome to the United Kingdom. Now, Kojo Che, when my wife was coming to the UK on EU spouse visa, she did not write any English exam. Her card of 5 years would expire on 4th January next year. Does she need the English for application of indefinite leave to remain? If she came with an EU spouse, they do not write English language tests. If she came, as you have said, on EU spouse visa or leave or family permit, EU nationals and their family members do not, in caps, in uppercase, do not write English tests. And they do not write English tests for indefinite leave to remain. They do not. But when or if they are going for their British citizenship, they're going for their British citizenship, then they will be required to write the Life in the UK test and the English language test level B1. So, for indefinite, under the EU law, Appendix EU No, no, no English is required. But for British citizenship, you have to write the Life in the UK test and English language test level B1. So she shouldn't worry for uh, she shouldn't worry now when she's going for her indefinite leave to remain. Dennis Gusi Osei Nimo Ano. Hello. Can someone with a skilled worker or student visa join the army if they don't want uh, to in the skilled worker category or student visa program? That's a very interesting question. Possibly. So please, I will say this is a very interesting question and you can explore. Contact the US the UK Army, the recruitment sector, and then pose this question to them. You just might be able to switch to join the army. It may be possible because you are in the UK legally. It may be possible, but of course, I'm not able to give you a definite answer. So contact them, email them, research and find out. And whatever response you get, please let me know. Then I can also pass it on to somebody who might need that advice. I live in Germany and a German citizen. Can I still come and settle in the UK? Possibly, you can still come and settle in the UK, but because you haven't been here to register or to obtain your pre-settlement, that is not possible. However, if you want to come and work, you can get an employer who will give you the certificate of sponsorship. Then you can come and work in the UK. 5 years, you get your indefinite leave to remain. Yes, you can come and settle you can come as a student, you can come as a spouse. If your spouse is here and you want to join your spouse here in the UK, of course, you can also come on the settlement route. But purely on yourself, as a person who is an EU national, German national, you want to come and settle, that is not possible now because the time for coming to register has elapsed. So you may not be able to come by yourself. I mean, as an EU national to settle, but through other categories, as a student, as a spouse, as a worker, yes, you are able to come to settle in the UK ultimately. When can she apply for indefinite leave? Meanwhile, me and the husband is a full, me the husband, yeah, is a full-time nursing student, so not too much financial background. Don't you worry at all. When it comes to EU nationals, when it comes to EU nationals, you do not have to worry about money. You don't have to worry about finance. You don't have to meet the financial requirements. You don't have to meet the maintenance requirements. You don't have to meet any of those. All you have to show is you are in the UK with your spouse for the 5 years. You are here. You are a student. That is good enough. She can apply 5 years from the date she arrived in the UK for her indefinite leave to remain. You shouldn't have any problems at all. If you have any challenges, you can just call the office line on 0208 0165 384 0208 0165 384. Call in, book appointment, come, and we'll show you how to navigate the rules for your wife to get her leave to remain in the UK. I just asked. I'm struggling with career trans. Yes, yes. On EU pre-settlement, you made the application for me. Got MSc marketing here in the UK. All right. So, could you, Drew Waffle, EU settlement? Of course. This is an area. Come. Let's talk. Call the office line again. Book appointment to see me in person, and let's just have a general discussion as to which aspect you want to switch to. You want to switch career transitioning. Yeah, come, let's have a heart-to-heart talk. I mean, this is not about the law. Let's just explore which areas are of interest to you. I may be able to guide you or point you to one direction or the other, so that you can have some satisfaction in whichever career you decide to settle on. But ask yourself what you love to do. I'm sure I may be able to help you come to
Hey,
think.
lawyer.
Yes.
And then my back me was studio BT. I'm out for Jala. Time in a pound crab, but still I'm the questions in the bar, never. And I be so yeah, me punchy questions in the mouth, sir.
That's okay. That's
Your
fine.
time I swap on, but
Yes.
and then the mini studio A, my best studio B, and then no freestyling go on. See me, lawyer, why already there are questions and I feel na ebi mo omo jiga kra, omo de gum and so omo de gum.
Young Kongwa, young Kongwa.
Omo the questions in the gum and so omo de na
Young Kong.
normally near time in the 5:37 UK 6 to 8. But this time the questions na for na mo for jiga.
Yeah, 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 8:30. I think I can respond to thank you.
Yeah, yanko way.
Yeah, Yanko 8:30, yes. Husseina Moro. My husband is a German with settlement status here in the UK. We just about to apply for settlement for my two kids. My pre-settlement will be 5 years in May, as I entered May 2019. Can I add mine now? No, yours should be due in 2020. 24, May 2024. The children will be eligible because their father has got the settlement, so they will be straight away for settlement. But for you, the timeline is 5 years, so please don't send yours now. If you send it, they'll give you another 5 years. So just wait. May is just around the corner. Send it, you get your indefinite leave to remain. You don't have to worry too much about that. Okay, DJ, next one. Yeah. Please can a dependent travel outside to Ghana for a month and come back without any problems in entry? Of course, a dependent can travel to Ghana if the sponsor is in employment genuinely and if they arrive at the airport and they ask questions, they will give the comprehensive and detailed and consistent answers. If your sponsor is not working where they are supposed to be working, and you travel out, you come back to the airport, immigration officers can question you if your answers don't add up and there are problems that can affect you. So please check and make sure that your sponsor is in employment, the right employment and everything is in place before you travel out. Traveling out is not the problem. Coming back after you traveled is the issue. I don't want you to get stuck outside the borders. So please check and be so sure. Now, the question here is dependent. What dependent are we talking about? I need to know. If it's an EU dependent, that's a different matter. If it's a tier two dependent, it's a different matter. If it's a skilled healthcare worker dependent, that's a different matter. So I need to know a little more about the type of dependent you are referring to, and then I can maybe elaborate a little more. Thank you. Margaret Ejepong. I am in the US with a US passport. Hey, which state are you in? How do I settle in the UK? What visa do I need to migrate to the UK? Well, if you're in the US with a US passport, yo, I hope everything is all right. Good. If you want to go to the UK, if you want to go and work in the UK, then you have to search for a sponsor who will issue you a sponsorship certificate. Sponsorship certificate. A sponsor that has a sponsorship license issued by the Home Office, and then they will issue you COS, Certificate of Sponsorship. Based on that, you apply for your job, you go to the UK to settle there, work. After 5 years, you get your indefinite leave to remain. Or if you have your partner in the UK who is there legally settled in the UK, either as a British citizen or he has indefinite leave to remain, you can also apply as a spouse under Appendix FM Section ECP of the Immigration Rules. As a partner, you meet the financial, relationship, immigration, and then, of course, accommodation and English language requirements. Because you have a U.S. passport, you don't have to pass, don't have to write the English language test. But of course, you meet the other requirements and then you can go and settle in the UK with your partner. Or if you want to go to school in the UK, then you have to get admission, go study there. After that, after 1 year of studies, you get your 2 years post study work visa to work in the UK. From there, you may be able to switch to other categories, which will eventually lead you to settlement in the UK. So those are some of the options you have. Daniel Donko, hello. Please, does a person working for the HMPPS need a COS for visa extension? Is that Her Majesty's Passport HMPPS? What is that? Are these the passport office or HMP? Is it prisons? I think. Give me further information. What is the HM? I know it stands for His Majesty's something. But if it is, of course, for the prisons, maybe as a warder, which they are now allowing, or they want to allow prison warders to come, prison officers to come and work in the UK. Yes, the prison must have the certificate of sponsorship. And once they have that, they have to issue it to you. They have to have the license, sponsorship license, and then issue you certificate of sponsorship. Then you will then be able to apply to come to the UK if you are coming to work with His Majesty's prisons or the passport office or wherever it is. Yes, if they are employing you, then of course they need to also meet the requirements of having the license to employ. Wilson Day Roger. Okay, I have a EU partner. I applied for my 72 years but refused the application. Why? They said the evidence was not sufficient. I submitted all I need, and she is mom. I don't. I don't. Why? Okay, I think what he's saying is, I applied for my partner as mother, who is 72 years old, as a family member of an EU national, but the application was refused because they claimed you didn't meet the requirements or the evidence was not sufficient. Now, if you're applying for uh, an adult dependent relative in the EU, under the EU provisions, under Appendix EU, that is in the ascending order, in the higher order, you need to show two things. The first one is relationship, the second one is dependency. Relationship, you can use birth certificate and DNA to prove that the old lady is related to your wife or your wife is related to your old lady, the old lady, that is mother and daughter, that is relationship. The second thing you have to prove is dependency. You have to prove that your wife or yourself, you are fully and absolutely responsible for the old lady's everything, for her essential and material needs, her food, medication, medical needs, healthcare needs, accommodation, travel costs, clothing. You have to show that you're responsible for every aspect of her life. And how do you show this? By providing money transfer receipts or bank statements from which you bank accounts from which you transfer money from here into that account for her to use for her daily living. Now, if you can provide proof that without you, she has nowhere else or nobody else to support her, then you have a good grounds. If it is refused, please appeal. Appeal against the decision, take it to court, provide all the evidence you have to support your application. I am certain that you will be able to win the appeal provided you have the evidence to show. Now, sometimes they tell you you haven't proved enough of your own personal circumstances. Remember, in Ghana, we don't take receipts when we go to Makola or get KJTR market to buy anything. No receipts. Nobody gives receipts there. So if the decision maker is starting to produce receipts, it doesn't make sense. We are not in the UK where you can ask for receipts. KJTR market, Makola market, Agbogboleshi market, nobody gives receipts. So make them understand that. And also make them understand that when we take trotro in Ghana, nobody takes receipt for sitting in trotro. So if they want you to prove that the money you send her, she uses it and she has to prove evidence, we don't have it. In Ghana, our system is totally different. So these are some of the things you need to put out to them and make them understand. Set it out in your cover letter and set it out well. If it is refused, you take it to court, you will win. We always win these appeals because we set out our cover letter very well. So when we go to court, we just rely on the cover letter plus the supporting documents. And once there's a good oral evidence, we are home and dry. So appeal against the decision. Justice Akofo. Hello, Mr. Akofo. I came to the UK in February 2020, got married to an EU national, and got my pre-settled status in 2021. When do I qualify for indefinite leave to remain? 2021 plus 5 years is 2026. You can apply for your indefinite leave to remain. You became a family member of the EU national in 2021. That is when you married. Yes. So you came in 2020, got married in 2021. So if you married in 2021, it is plus 5. If you married in 2020, it is plus 5. So if you married in 2020, it's 2025. If you married in 2021, it's 2026. So just do the calculation and then you'll be able to know exactly where you fall. Hello, Kwajo Che. Do EU settlers do applying for indefinite leave to remain also pay 2,500? No, sir. EU nationals, family members applying for settlement do not pay anything. Zero. They don't pay anything to the Home Office. They may pay the appointment fee, which is I think £139 or something, about 100 and even that sometimes you get a free ones, you don't pay anything. It's not like the British one where you have to pay the £2,500 plus. EU nationals, they pay zero. Thank you. Na Akushi Kalamti. Hi, lawyer. Please, can my children join me? My uncle in the UK, who is a British citizen, he's the one who takes care of them. They are below 12 years. Unfortunately, he cannot just apply for them to join him. However, if there is a genuine adoption, and the word is genuine adoption, which will then cut off the relationship between you and your children, the children will now become his children, then on that basis, he is able to apply for the children to come and live with him in the UK. He has to start the adoption process from the UK, no longer in Ghana, but from the UK. He has to start the process by contacting his council or his borough or contacting an adoption agency in the UK who would take him through the foreign adoption process. Once that is done, then he can bring the children or the child if the adoption goes through successfully. But he cannot just apply for them because he is responsible for them to come and join him in the UK. There's more to it than that. Doreen Benua Owusu. Please, my visa will expire on 20th September 2024. When can I apply for another one? I don't know what you are on, but you normally have, okay, you are on a skilled worker visa. All right. It's usually 28 days before it expires. So if it's in September 2024, you're looking at August 2024. So count 28 days from the date it expires. Count it backwards. So 28, so 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. What? Count it back 28 days. Anytime within that period, you can apply for your leave. Boateng Edu Akwesi. Please, COS dependent leaves to Ghana will be questioned a lot for returning back to the UK. Well, yes, I believe that's an information. Says if you are a COS dependent, leaves to Ghana will be questioned a lot for returning back to the UK. Well, if it's a statement, then that is what it is. But if it's a question, then I would say yes, it all depends. on the fact that you are dependent doesn't mean you can't travel. You can travel, but just make sure that things are in order so that when you are coming back and they ask you questions, you are able to respond to the questions. If you come back to the airport, they ask you about your wife or they ask you about your husband, you don't remember his name, you don't remember her name, you don't know where she's working, you don't know the company she works for, you don't know the number of days she does, how much she earns. That brings into question the genuineness of the relationship. That is why we question and we caution you that just make sure that everything is in place before you step out. Coming back may be an issue. Going out is with much pleasure. Coming back can be an issue. So just make sure your house is in order before you step out. Thank you. Hussein Moro. Hi, as I entered 6 May 2019, I guess my settlement application is 6 April, a month before. I am I right? Yes. If you came with I think you came with, is it EU? If you came with EU or any other visa or spousal visa, it's 6th of April 2024. 2024, yes, that is 12 months. Sorry, 28 days before it expires, you should be eligible to apply for your settlements to be in the UK. Yes. Did you say 6th of April? I would say 8th of April. The 8th of April, that means you've entered into the 28th days. So make it 8th of April rather than the 6th of April. Daniel Dunkel, I am already working with the prison service and need visa extension, but I am not getting any concrete feedback from the prison services with regard to that. Oh, okay. So you were asking about the COS for the HMPPS also. Okay. Thanks for the clarification. Please push them, push them, and put a little bit of pressure on them. Don't wait till it gets too close to the extension and if they tell you they kind of stand there, you have a difficulty. So email them, call them, go to your line manager, keep chasing them, keep following up, and know if they are able to do it for you or not. If not, you look for another option rather than waiting with them until it becomes too late. Make it make sense. DJ Khan, you ask lawyer if I make him laugh.
So, see, as I'm more asking, free consultation. Lawyer wisdom,
thank,
Akaho, wise
thank
man,
you.
champion man. Uh,
Thank you, my brother.
lawyer,
Yes, you get free consultation. So come, let's talk. After the consultation, you take me to McDonald's. Okay.
lawyer,
Yes.
mama time na ko ichire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Questions read me who say afi na eba but nyame adoma next week no.
Mercy.
My Fridays be an yawa ha. 6:30. She and them say 6. I'm about UK with time na 6:30 to 8. But Ghana ka 5:30 to 7. It's 6:30 to 8. Inti Ghana for GMT for no 5:30 to 7. Lawyer, the contact details the good screen so no but me I continue more about the message see ba we be no time na so lawyer what address ni we no bet me the mama mo person omo be follow no na
DJ, you're looking fresh, oh. Hey, DJ.
ah
Uh,
I'm forcing me ba I think me go 3 weeks so my fresh
why you fresh, man?
almost say my fresh but me so me won
We just so when they know at your when to outside won't yourself.
okay almost say my fresh but I must say
We are seeing you, you are seeing us, so we are telling you, say looking fresh.
yeah, that must say fresh.
All right, we thank God. Yes, I mean you are doing a good job. We are grateful to you for this platform. I mean we are so eternally grateful.
Mm,
We really appreciate you so much, DJ,
mm.
for everything. You have been such a blessing to us, and thank you.
Akpe, see,
Ebe
I
yes,
think,
ebe
uh,
yes.
yɛntie print house no.
Yo, a number, a White Smart Solicitors, 18 to 22 Ashwin Street, 8 to 9 the Print House. Our address is, like what I've just mentioned, postcode is E83DL. E83DL. Wiseman Solicitors, 18 to 22 Ashwin Street, 8 to 9 The Print House. E83DL. London Dalston, EA3DL. Echo 8 3 Delta Lima. Telephone numbers 0208 0165 384. 0208 0165 384. And the mobile number is 079 31 411 042. 079 31 411 042. We have Lawyer Francis. Lawyer Francis Ewoho. Let me see if I can get you Lawyer Francis' telephone number. Lawyer Francis Bosompem. His number is 079 4677 2439. 079 4677 2439. That is Lawyer Francis Bosompem. And then we have Lawyer Nana Amua, also of Wiseman Solicitors. His number is 07737 572905. 077 3757 2905. 077 3757 2905. And we have Lawyer Rose Marie. Rose Marie, her number is Claudia. It's 07949 566 536. 07949 566 536. Lawyer Rose Marie. Claudia Rose Marie. So these are the team. This is the team we have. Solid team. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. Call, book, come, sit down with us. We'll resolve your problems as best as we can. The laws that need navigation, we will navigate it. The laws that need application, we will apply it. We look at the facts, we look at the law, we apply the facts to the law to get solution for you. Thank you. We are grateful. DJ Akwe, Mawana Yirao.
Okay, Lawyer Wisdom Macau.
Come out next more. What's next week? Benin or Makwe?
Omakwe.
Yes.
Okay, Lawyer Wisdom Akawas, Wiseman Solicitors. First time now, share SBTV Africa. The Makacha say when DHR you miss things. Aha, and yet the day, and yen talk up me team Macau. No, we know they do that thing. The ebe bow no, me bow. Me naba, wa more run down in yana. It's the old year, be no so educate you. And ya de ubi kwa kudi usikebi. Connection. I'll be say oh. Also be educated so tiase so na be a ukọ bibia obon so tiase we are not this around down be be concerning UK bia no many lawyer AK Poku beba biom US senansia many Steven Audi baby Canada many lawyer AK Poku beba biom and me hwe ada we so na Aisha my dog no me ba UK mini Aisha by Germany for shinging for Nyame adoma me ne be kasa next week na me ne Aisha bana ya be din komo akranti wo questions so a person obisan concerning shingia obetimi ebisa no me da wansa mo hwe SBTV Africa me da mo nyina ase mo hwe enne no me studio B nim se na me ye na me studio A dia G studio dia Janet Ahin me da ase for say na Moro, thank you so much Yadel, thank you so much. Margaret, Japan, me that's so Justice Akufo, thank you so much. Daniel Donko, me that's Wilson, me that's Kojoche, me that's say no be joining here. Doreen, Beniwa Usu, me that's Boatin Edu Akusi, thank you so much. Na Akushika Lamte, thank you so much. and make it make sense. Thank you so much, Daniel Donko. I promise me that say. My hood TV me that say. Miss Usu, was it fresh? More fresh vegetables. Richard, oh, thank you so much. Madam, when you ask some share Facebook, more questions by one to me and Famba. I mean, I do my next week, me never about live. Be two questions, piano what you go na. Will be sano send a wow. Subscribe to your channel no your YouTube videos or I'll be joining a YouTube video. Obviously, I'm be brave YouTube channel. #1, a hotspot. Daily Hustle UK, Daily Hustle Worldwide. You yani then internet. Ushamo Kruma kase tour. Na majest to tour. Madam production team as DJ Click Sharon. And at the DJ Nyame. Link up. Na more UK ye next week na me start say ebe showcase product way. But more UK omo nimpa. Delight House Cocoa. Hey, me buy and one amenumo. Delight heavy rough and upper breakfast. And you remember best me the heavier. Delight House Cocoa. Ko pebi na to shop be a room be a Afro shop. Ghana shop be a room be a heavy rough. Most of my fresh. It be Delight House Cocoa. And then I no. Me buy and one amenu and no pebia. A heavy pa. Mon kona mon ko pebi na monto. A heavy. It's Madam I say Matthew, thank you so much. Yeah, sorry. Thank you so much. Madam I say Bedua, Madam I say Munya mo share Madam I say. Usha mo kroma na waka say tour, no ma just tour. So tour makram.
Oh, hello, people. My name is Kale Boss. The only boss. Oh, wait, what else? Have you heard? Wait, do you know that Tap Tap Send is live in Texas? Oh, you didn't know? We went to New York. Now we are live in Texas. So people in Texas and around, all you have to do is to download Tap Tap Send. Yes, Tap Tap Send has become the most unique, secure, and fast way of sending money across the world to your loved ones anywhere. Okay, so download Tap Tap Send on Google Play Store or App Store. And when you're in Texas or around, you just have to put in the code TXGH. What did I say? TXGH, and you get $10 for your first transaction you make. Mahama media, Texas, you drew very soon we'll conquer everywhere.
Download Tap Tap Send now on Google Play and App Store. Tap Tap Send, it's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.